Are we good? Can you hear me? All right, thank you, Lord. You see the power of God in the prayer? It's like instantaneous. You know, who graduated this past week or so? Or like the school's over? Who's done with school? Yeah? Some of you are, and some of you maybe still have to finish up. Well, you know what? There's a school right down the block. It's PS2. Many of you practice there as warriors, either basketball or volleyball or various other ministries. I had the opportunity and the privilege to attend the graduation this past Thursday. So I was out there, and guess what? So this is their program, and I was handed this one. And the reason I attended was because the principal had asked me, now Tom, we would love to have you there. And the reason he invited me because our church set up a little scholarship fund just to recognize some of the kids. So every year, we've been doing it for a couple of years, and we've done this with other schools as well too, at PS 130. If you know PS 130 down on Baxter Street. So here's how we do it. We go to the principal and we say, you know what? We would love to be able to be supporters of your school. And what we want to recognize are not just kids with the brightest, no, you know how it is. Come graduation time, the valedictorians, they go up there, like when you get the high A's and you get all these scores, and I was never good. I was always like maybe C plus, B, or whatever it may be. But you try hard. So I went to the principal. I said, you know what, can you set up something where it's not just for the academically high achievers? Can you set up something where kids that try really, really hard throughout the school year, they may be C's or D's and they're making a headway and they become B students? And it could be like a lot of hardships that we may be facing. And he said, yes, definitely. So here's what happened. Every class, the graduating class, the fifth grade, the teachers get to nominate a kid. And these kids, they get a certificate and also they get a little scholarship from us. So we put out $500 just to support that. And when I asked for that donation, Cindy, she raised her hand and she said, Mr. Kenny, I know we need funds to do this. I'm going to give the whole $500, and whatever else you want to raise up, that's fine too. So I just want to recognize Cindy for that. Cindy, it's such an amazing story. So I approached the principal a couple months ago. I mentioned it about Cindy's love offering, and he was floored. It was so cool. And so catch this. So come last Thursday, I was in the auditorium, and these kids, they go up there, and right over here it says perseverance. And then the principal would call up these 5 kids' names. They go up there and they were so happy. They were so touched. And the principal said, no, that's what you need to have, this perseverance, to fulfill your dreams, to achieve your fullest potential. Would you agree with me? Is that what you need? Perseverance? Yes? You all agree. But you know what's holding us back? See, perseverance is really, really good. Perseverance is, I'm going to hold to something really, really good in my life. I'm going to stay with this no matter what. I'm going to see it through. Nothing's going to stop me. That's what it is, right? But also, there's a flip side. We also hold on to something very, very bad. That's not good for us. And it always stops us from achieving our fullest potential. It will always stop you. It will always stop me. And that one characteristic that we're talking about today, and we all have to overcome, is stubbornness. Everyone say stubbornness. Quick question. Who's stubborn? Raise your hand. Who admits that they're stubborn? Oh, okay. So today we got some more. Let me just, for those of you who didn't raise their hands, I just got a quick 5 questions. Oh, I see fingers pointing left and right over here. I'm not stubborn. That person is. No, I'm not going to say nothing. All right, first question. Are you stubborn? Here's the quiz. I'm just going to boil it down to like 5 questions. I love quiz. It goes like this. When you discuss with other people, do you feel like they're wrong? When you have discussion, if you're discussing something with your friends, do you feel they're wrong? And when you're having this discussion, you feel they're wrong? Absolutely. Man, I love it. Okay. Question number 2. See if this helps you. When you argue now, when you argue with people, do you think you are right? Without question. So you're having this discussion, you're wrong. You have an argument, I'm right. Now that's kind of stubborn right there. All right. Number 3, I only got 5. Number 3. Do other people consider yourself a person who listens and understands? Is that a characteristic that your friends told you? That, oh, she listens, she understands. Well, he listens, he understands. Did you get that compliment? Sometimes? That's it. 4. This is a good one. Do you ever realize you made a mistake? Oh, me? No way! Right? How could that be? He's always wrong, I'm always right. How can I ever make a mistake? No way, no way. Don't even go there, Mr. Kenny. Number 5. This is a very, very good one. When a person does not agree with you, are you curious to know their viewpoint? Are you curious just to know their viewpoint? Who did well? Who did well over here? 1. Oh, the handshake one too, I remember. Okay, 1. Well, guess what? I think we all agree. Perseverance is really, really good. You hold on to something good in your life, just like your faith. You don't change your mind on that part of it. You hold on good. But then there are bad things in our lives. That's when we're stubborn. And stubborn people, catch this, will have a tough time in life. Stubborn people are those that says, hey, I said so, that's why, I said so. And you cannot grow like that. And it's hard to have friendships and relationships. If you're in a relationship, be it boyfriend, girlfriends, or a marriage, or you're looking to have relationships, could you imagine you get stuck with a stubborn person? You'd be like, oh man, that is so hard to live with. Well, guess what? Reflect that back. Don't look outside ourselves. Look back into ourselves. So today, here's what we're going to address. I'm going to address what stubbornness is. I'm going to show you how to break out of that. Is that cool? Everyone say cool. Cool. All right. That didn't sound legit. That didn't sound sincere. Is that cool? Cool. I feel love. That feels much better. Okay, take your program, please. Let's start. Go to the back of the program. Read with me, please. Nice and loud. On the top. 6 self-repeating obstacles prevent your full potential. The 5th obstacle today is, everyone say, stubbornness. Put that down. Stubbornness. That's your first fill-in. We're dealing with stubbornness today. We're going to look at your past. This is how it starts. It starts with your past. Our stubbornness comes from somewhere. It comes from our past. You identify with those who did wrong. You identify with those who did wrong. Please read Luke 11:47-48, nice and loud. Woe to you, because you built tombs of the prophets, and it was your forefathers who killed them. So you testify that you approve of what your forefathers did. They killed the prophets, and you built their tombs. Take a pen. This is how we do it here. I know some of you first time, but that's okay. Take a pen. I'm going to have it highlighted several key words, so that when you leave here, when you hold on to this during this past week, when you think that you're dealing with stubbornness, you can always look back into this, and you can deal with this. Okay? Take your pen. Circle the word woe. Everyone say woe. Woe is not good. It means like, man, that's almost like bad things going to happen. This is Jesus talking. Jesus talking to a group of people who thinks they're really, really smart. They go, woe to you, because you built tombs for the prophets, and it was your forefathers, circle forefathers, who killed them. So you testify that you approve of what your forefathers did. So you approve of what your forefathers did. They killed the prophets, and you built their tombs. Let me have attention, please. Go very fast, very easy. Jesus talking to a bunch of people. They're really, really smart. And they're called the Pharisees. Very, very smart. Excellent. Really high up there, high IQs. Harvard grad law school, Yale law school type of guys. And they know so very much. And Jesus is pronouncing something. Jesus knows that their heart is very hard-hearted. See the word stubbornness? In the Bible, there's a sense of dryness. There's a sense of being stiff-necked. For those of you who are Chinese, if you know the Nangang, anyone know what's a Nangang? Right? They are stiff-necked people. There's no life in it. So there's this dryness of spirit. They're not teachable. Their heart is all hard. And Jesus is talking to them. You know how we get our stubbornness? And Jesus mentions it right now. Jesus goes, you identify with the wrong type of people. And when you associate and identify with the wrong type of people, here's what it means, okay? Here's what it means. Jesus goes, you identify with those of you who call your forefathers of your country. And since the forefathers of your country kill the prophets and you approve what they did, you identify yourself with them, and you call them, that's your lineage. So here's how it applies to us right now. Very, very simple. In the United States of America, do you identify with Lincoln or the Ku Klux Klan? Are you getting it first? In America, do you identify yourself, the forefathers of this country, with Lincoln, President Lincoln, or the Ku Klux Klan? Do you understand this first of all? So that's what Jesus is talking about. Who are you identifying yourself with? Who speaks to you? Who do you follow? Whose thoughts are important to you? And as all you know, we all know, Lincoln's are the one who emancipated, right? And said slavery should be abolished. This is not good. What's the other group of people? The white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan. And they continue with that. And they would kill and they would murder minorities. They would lynch. Atrocities would happen. Unheard of. Unfair, totally. And so what Jesus started out with this is very, very simple. With this group of people. You kill the priests. You kill all these people. And you build tombs, yes, but you approve of what your forefathers did. So can we in this room, can we ever want to approve what the Ku Klux Klan did? Would any one of you raise your hand and say, I approve what the Ku Klux Klan did? None of you would, right? In your right same mind, you would not. But you know, there are so many people today still could approve of what the Ku Klux Klan did. Now, I saw this little documentary. His name is Brian Weiner. He's a white supremacist. If you met him on the street, if he's walking down Emory Street, you know what you would do? You would put your face down. You would walk across the street and pretend that you did not see him. And you make sure you don't make eye contact. He's a white supremacist. He puts down everybody that's a minority except for the white people. You know how you recognize him? His face has tattoos all over. All over. Neck, face, everything. When I saw a picture of him, I said, this is a mean guy. His knuckles has the word hate on it. He got all kinds of, his face down, neck, everything. All his body is filled with tattoos of hate. You would not want to walk near this guy. He founded a group. He was married to a woman as well too. His wife also believes it. They identify themselves with the Ku Klux Klan and all those hate groups. And so this is how it starts, the stubbornness within our heart. Who do you identify with? Obviously you're going to say, I'm not going to identify with that. But every one of us, the reason we're stubborn is because there's a voice. There are people that you follow in the past, and you're still holding on to some of those values. Are we cool first? We start with that first. Point number 2 in stubbornness. That's the past. Now we deal with the present. And because you identify that past, there's the present. You continue to be wrong. You identify the wrong type of people. Today, the present, you will continue to be wrong. How do we get that? Please read Luke 11, nice and loud. Please read. Because of this, God in His wisdom said, I will send them prophets and apostles, some of whom they will kill, others they will persecute. Do you get that? So this is Jesus speaking against the same group of people. He says, because you identify the wrong type of people in the past, here's what Jesus did in His wisdom. Because of this, God in His wisdom said, I will send them prophets and apostles, some of whom they will kill, circle kill. Others they will persecute, circle persecute. Let me get attention, please. So you have a voice in your past, and that's why we're talking about certain things. We don't want to bad things. There's a voice in your past. And you're going to say, well, that's the past. I might identify with certain people, but they're responsible. I'm not responsible, right? I am not responsible for the past. I am only responsible for my own actions today. That's what we all say. And Jesus says, watch this. Not true. Not true. Whatever you identify with yourself and associate yourself in those voices of your mind, you will continue to live out this way. And you will do wrong. You will continue to be wrong. And Jesus goes like this. You know what I'm going to do? Your forefathers killed. Your forefathers persecuted the prophets. And since you think you're not guilty of that, and it's just in your mind, that's not true. Jesus goes, God in his wisdom sends forth prophets and apostles. And what are you going to do about it? And what they do? They kill. They continue to. Are you guys getting this a little bit more now? Whatever you put in your mind that you associate with, all those atrocities that has happened in the past, if you're that white man today that I'm talking to, and you say, I could identify with the Ku Klux Klan, I could identify with the white supremacy group, but whatever they did, that's done. That's just me today. I have nothing to do, I don't link myself to that. Then Jesus goes, no, not true. God in his wisdom is going to send a black man into your path. God in his wisdom is going to send a minority. God in his wisdom is going to send a Chinese man in your path, into your path. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you're a white supremacist, what happens? You will attack. And you will continue to. So here's what Jesus is saying very simply. When we associate ourselves with people who do wrong in the past, it affects us today. That's what we're going to do. And all our actions, catch this, goes to the third point. Think it in place. It affects your future. Your actions have consequences. Your actions have consequences. Please read Luke 11, nice and loud. Therefore, this generation will be held responsible for the blood of all the prophets that has been shed since the beginning of the world. From the blood of Abel to the blood of Zechariah, who was killed between the altar and the sanctuary. Yes, I tell you, this generation will be held responsible for it all. Man, this is deep. This is cool. Take a pen. Watch this. Your actions have consequences. So Jesus finished with this. You identify with those who did wrong. You continue to do wrong, be wrong. Therefore, you will have consequences. So then he says, therefore, this generation, not this generation. I want to say this generation. Will be held responsible for the blood of all the prophets. Held responsible. So held responsible. For the blood of all the prophets that has been shed since the beginning of the world. Wow. Yes. From the blood of Abel to the blood of Zechariah, who was killed between the altar and the sanctuary. Yes, I tell you, this generation will be held responsible. So they're held responsible for it all. Now, here's what Jesus finishes this part with about stubbornness. He starts with the very first one. Cain and Abel. Blood was shed. Zechariah, I'll just warn you guys, is the last prophet, in the minor prophet in the Old Testament. He was also killed as well, too. And Jesus goes like this. This generation, you are responsible from the very first blood, the first drop of blood that was shed to today. All of that, you're responsible for that. You say, how does that work? I'm going to ask you guys a very simple question. I'll just show you a very simple illustration from China, for instance. You know, back in China, a number of years ago, during the revolution, right? Chairman Mao, you guys heard of him? Right? He persecuted a lot of Chinese people. A whole lot of people had to flee their homes. And you know, today there are still people that are fighting that. I say, no, although I'm Chinese, I do not identify myself with the communist China with Mao Zedong. I associate myself with freedom fighters. And that's why they split off to Taiwan. Is that true? Is that what happened? That's what they still continue to fight right now. So I ask you guys a very simple question. For those who are Chinese, do you identify yourself with Chairman Mao? If you do, not that you raise your hand, but if you do, then all those, whoever has suffered under his rule, aren't you responsible? You approve of what he did. If you approve of what Chairman Mao did, then aren't you responsible? Because if you approve of that, your thinking is still here, and there's still hatred in your heart for a certain class of people. It's all over. And Jesus, I hold you all responsible. So how do we get out of this? How do we get out of this? What if I tell you there's this great teacher? What if I tell you change has come up in your heart, that our stubborn pride is going to stop us, but change has come up in our heart? Would you believe this? If I were to tell you there's this great spiritual teacher that would free you, but he's a homeless man who sleeps on a park bench, and for 2 years he just sleeps in the streets, and then he has this amazing teaching, would anyone of you believe this? Would anyone of you believe this? Raise your hand if you would. I'll do it that way. Raise your hand, you would not believe such a person. A homeless, suicidal man that sleeps on the park bench. You would not believe, right? Sorry. Anybody heard this guy named Eckhart Tolle? This guy slept on the park bench for 2 years. He was suicidal. He was about to take his life. He says, I don't understand why. I'm going to kill myself. And he just starts to sleep out on the park bench. He was a smart guy, and his parents thought he lost it. They should just put him in the hospital somewhere. And then he wrote a book, The Power of Now. 3 million copies or so. #1 bestseller. From a suicidal man who used to live on a park bench. And he talks about life, and he can tell you what's the purpose of life and how you can be changed. You're stubborn, he can change you. You guys laugh. After that first book was sold 3 million copies, this book came out, the third book came out, 5 million copies. A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. Oprah, book. Could you believe that? At one time, he put out a webinar, 10 episodes. 35 million people watched it. 35 million people watched it and followed it. Could you imagine that? He is recognized, this guy, he is recognized as the #1 authority right now about generation in terms of being a spiritual teacher. Global. His books are translated, written in 33 languages. And people are flocking to him and saying, he has the answer. Would you believe it? Would you trust it? After I say that. See, initially we say, I'm not going to trust a park bench guy, homeless, suicidal man that's going to do that. I would never believe what he says. But then after I tell you what other people are saying, now with the site say, ooh, maybe I should look at that book. Oh, maybe I should get something. I got a much better book for you. Don't trust this. He quotes from the Bible, he quotes Jesus, he quotes Buddha. You cannot trust this. I would not trust it. I'm logical. See, stubbornness is this. Watch this. Stubbornness is in spite of all of this, you still hold on to something that's negative. You continue with that. In spite of logic. You know how you get out of that stubbornness? Reason. Everyone say reason. Stubbornness is to say, I'm going to hold on to this, even though it's illogical, I still want to follow it. I'm going to give you a very, very simple test today. I'm going to try to give you a test right now to bring you out of any stubbornness that you may have in your heart. It starts today. If you can pass this one, you're going to open this up to other things. And it's going to change the way you look at the world. Are we cool? We're not going to go with this book. We go with who he quotes. Jesus. Take a pen. This is God's #1 issue. You want to bring out your stubbornness? It's very, very simple. We start with this. God's #1 issue is the reasonableness of Jesus' resurrection. The reasonableness of Jesus' resurrection. Pay attention, please. If over the next 7 minutes, I can walk you through something with logic, being reasonable about the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and you're able to open yourself to that, then you can snap yourself out of stubbornness. And when you snap yourself out of a stubborn heart, you know what's going to flow into you? God's love, God's mercy, God's graciousness, God's goodness, the potential of resurrection. Wow, then your mind catches that. Watch this. If you're able to open your mind to resurrection, that means you're opening your mind to the miraculous. Is that true? Is that true? To the miraculous. You're able to open your mind to the resurrection, that means you're able to open your mind to heaven and hell. Are we there? When you're able to open your mind to heaven and hell, then you're able to open your mind to the meaning and purpose of life. It starts all with the resurrection. Isn't that cool now? Let's go. First point. She's not over there. She's not over there. That's your feeling. She's not over there. Now, I'll show you what I mean by she's not over there. Please read Mark 16, 9 to 11. Nice and loud. When Jesus rose early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had driven 7 demons. She went and told those who had been with him, and who were mourning and weeping. When they heard that Jesus was alive and that she had seen him, they did not believe it. Think of that. When Jesus rose early on the first day, so the word rose early. Everyone say rose early. Let me have attention. It doesn't mean that he said, as I woke up to 5 o'clock early in the morning, oh, I got to wake up early to go to work. He was dead. He was dead for 3 days already, just to make sure we're okay. He didn't wake up just early to go to work. Okay, look at that. You guys, I thought it was a little funny. You guys did not laugh. Tough crowd, I understand, tough crowd. Get ahead, he's stubborn. Look at that. Please read with me again. Mark 16. When Jesus rose early, so rose early, on the first day of the week, he appeared, catch this, first. This is crucial. And the one appeared first. What's the name? Mary. So Mary. Out of whom he had driven 7 demons. And the one 7 demons. Wow. She went and told those who had been with him and who were mourning and weeping. When they heard, and the one heard, that Jesus was alive. So alive. And that she had seen him, what was their reaction? So did not believe it. Let me have attention, please. If I can prove to you right now the resurrection of Jesus Christ, it's going to help open your mind so much, it will help open your world so much. You're going to see the world so differently. You will see the miraculous. It will not hold you back. It will open up to God's love for your life. So the very first person that saw Jesus rose from the dead, Jesus said, I'm going to die on the cross. And I'll rise up in 3 days. See, this man who wrote this book, who has 35 million people that follow and watch him, did not make that claim. He did not say, I know it all, I'm the way. He did not say, I know all of it, and I'll prove it to you. I'm going to die. I'll rise in 3 days. Now, if this man did that, would you believe? I would believe. Seriously, I would believe it. He dropped dead one day and he says, I'm going to come up, so whatever I say is true, I will believe. But it didn't happen. He quotes Jesus, which is in your hands. He quotes Jesus. And here's what Jesus says. I will be on the cross, I'll die for 3 days, and I'll rise. And you know I am the truth. That's the amazing part. And the first eyewitness was this lady named Mary. She's not over there. You notice that, right? She's not over there, right? She's not over there in a couple of ways. What's in her mind? There were like 7 demons. She was not over there. No, she's not over there, and that's one way. Mentally, she's not over there. She might have some neurological problems. She was not over there. Second reason she's not over there is because in those days, 2,000 years ago, in that society, does a woman have a say? Can you trust a woman's word? No. It was a man's word. A woman was not credible. You put a woman on the stand as an eyewitness in the court of law, you would never do it. Her testimony would not stand in the court of law. So when Mary runs and says, I saw Jesus, and runs back to the disciples, and Mary goes, I saw him, I saw Jesus, he rose. What's the normal thing? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. She's not over there. Are we cool? I understand that. And you understand that. But catch this. Watch this now. We get that. Let's go to the second one. Now what? Everyone say, now what?
Now what?
That's the third. Please read Mark 16. We continue the story. Nice and loud. Afterward, Jesus appeared in different forms to 2 of them while they were walking in the country. These returned and reported to the rest, but they did not believe them either. Think of that. Afterward, underline afterward. Jesus appears, underline appear, in a different form to 2 of them, circle 2 of them, while they were walking in the country. These returned and reported, wow, this is cool. Underline returned and reported to the rest. What was the reaction? But they did not what? Believe them either. Circle did not believe either. We're almost there. I know we're getting a little tired. We're almost there. Everyone say, everyone go like this, catch us. Everyone go, oh. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Do much better. Yeah, you do much better. I know it's a long day. You guys got up early in the morning. the volleyball and everything else. This is getting harsh, but catch this now. This is what makes New Life Now so special. Truly, truly. This is what makes New Life Now so special. We want you to be physically sound. We want you to have a great time. But we want this for you. We want this for you. Your faith. It's the thing that carries you throughout your life. And so here's, now what? Now what? Two guys. Jesus appears to two guys. See, we said that she's not over there. She doesn't have it up here. We can't trust what she says. But then Jesus appears to two other guys. And then Jesus comes back and says, hey, these two guys go back to the group and hey, do you guys believe? Quick question to all of you right now. If Mary comes into the room and says, Jesus rose, you will not believe, right? We say, no protocol. She's not all there. Lose screw. But what if Charlie? Forget Charlie. You can't remember. Oh, shucks. But let's say, what if Stephen and Paul, let's say, right? Comes back and says, oh, we saw Jesus. Would you guys believe? Would you guys believe? Unincredible. Unincredible. No, there's this Chinese story real fast, really quick. You guys gotta know the story. So one lady runs into the church and goes, hey, Minister Kenny, everybody, there's a lion coming down Henry Street. There's a lion running down Henry Street. Would any of you believe right now? Would anyone else go there? Oh, there's a lion, be careful? None of you would believe that, right? Now watch this. This is a crazy lady. There we go. That's just an associate minister word. They were in attention. And then how about this? What if Stephen and Paul runs back and says, it's true. There's a lion running down Henry Street. Would you guys start to believe? A little bit maybe? You don't believe? No way, right? No way, right? Exactly. That's the whole thing. You won't believe until you see it. That's the point. Take a pen, please. Do it again. That's your filling. Number 3. Do it again. Can we read Mark 16:14 nice and loud? Later Jesus appeared to the 11 as they were eating. He rebuked them for their lack of faith and their stubborn refusal to believe those who had seen him after he had risen. Take a pen, please. Wow. Later Jesus appeared, underline Jesus appeared, to the 11, those are his closest disciples. As they were eating, watch this, he rebuked them for the lack of faith and their what? Stubborn refusal. Circle stubborn refusal. What is their stubborn refusal? To believe. Underline believe. Those who had seen him after he had risen. Circle risen. Let me have attention to finish today. I want to say do it again. One more. Now catch this. Well, do it again. Like you really mean it. So like, do it again. Yeah. This is so important. Catch this. Do it again. Please. Do it again. Please do it again. And that's what we're asking God to do. He sends these people. He says, man comes. I saw her. You can't trust her. She's a woman. She's not over here. Then we send 2 other people. Men. That's good. Say, okay, character. You can trust it. No. I'm not going to trust it. Until I see it with my own eyes, I don't believe it. There's a lion running down the street? Nah. She's just crazy. There's a really a lion coming down the street? No. Those 2 guys? Nah. I won't believe until I see it with my very own eyes. Is that true? That's stubborn. That is so stubborn. Have one of you seen Lincoln with your own eyes? I hope not. You guys want to bring your hope. Have any one of you saw George Washington with your own eyes? I hope not. Have any one of you taken a trip, let's say, to Bangladesh? Have any one of you? Does it exist? Were you there? So why? Why are we so stubborn with Christ? And that's what Jesus is saying. There's this stubbornness within our heart. We refuse to believe. And we go like this. Watch this. Do it again. You know what do it again means? Coming down the cross again. That's what we're saying. Do it again. died on the cross today. I want to see with my own eyes that you're actually dead. Go into the tomb. I'm going to put you in the tomb. I'm going to wait 3 days. I'm going to stand right here. Get my little God. Get up. If I don't see you get up, Jesus, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Get up now. Get up. Do it again. Do it again. Watch this. Not only does Jesus have to do that for you today, he has to do that for everyone in this whole world. And he has to die every generation. Is that true? In order for you to use that standard to believe, that means after you're dead, and if God so allows you to have children, then your children would only believe because, do it again. Do it again, do it again, do it again. And God says, no. You are already responsible for all of the blood that was shed from the beginning to now. I've sent apostles, I've sent so many people throughout history to tell you of my love for you. Before the cross, before Christ came, God says, I will send the Messiah, the one who's going to die on the cross for you. Do you believe? And those who don't believe that right before Jesus was ever born of the Virgin Mary. And they believe. But those of us who came after the birth of Christ, we look back into history, we look back to the cross, and we believe. And the only reason we believe is because they were credible witnesses. Mary and all these disciples. So we have good belief. It is so reasonable. Watch this. It is so reasonable to believe that Christ died on the cross, rose in 3 days. It is just as reasonable to believe that as Lincoln is the 16th president, that he freed the slaves. It's just as credible. It's just as reasonable. But if our heart is not moved today to accept this, Jesus is saying something very, very simple. It's because I was stubborn and futile. Again, what does stubbornness means? It is instead of using our logical mind to accept it, there's a dryness within our heart. And when we have this dryness in our heart, we cannot believe the supernatural. If you cannot believe in the supernatural, that means, catch this, on your deathbed, when you die and when I die, we cease to exist. There is no heaven, there is no hell. That's the logical conclusion. We do not accept Christ, that he rose. That's why this is God's no longer sheep. I'll finish with this story. My son Gabe, he's out in Indonesia. I got an email from him just a couple of days ago. He's been out there for 3 weeks and he's going to go to South Korea. He's flying over to South Korea probably as we're speaking. He spent 2.5 weeks out in Indonesia sharing Jesus Christ through a dance ministry. He likes to dance, he's a great dancer, follows Pop's good looks and dance. No, he's still hating himself. I'm not like that at all. Except for the good looks part. But anyway, be focused. A little chill. He goes like this, he writes back, Dad, we performed in front of 2 venues and 2 other churches. Before hundreds and hundreds of people, there's a little language gap, but he used dance to communicate Christ. And they were translators. And he goes like this, in one setting, catch this, in one setting, 150 people came to receive Jesus Christ. 150 people were able to say, yes, I believe in the resurrection of Jesus Christ that he died on the cross for my sins. How? They let go of their heart, their stubbornness. They looked at the logical part and said, it all makes sense. I don't have to hold on to any of the stubbornness. It all makes sense. So I pray for you today. Mary, Ashton, over here. Goes other 2, now what? Do it again, do it again, do it again. That's your only alternative. I have to tell you this. God is not going to come down and die again and again. And here's the good news. You can accept it today purely by reason, not a leap of blind faith. And then your fullest potential is right in front of you. Let us pray. Lord God, we praise you, Father. We thank you. We thank you we do not have to accept the resurrection of Jesus Christ as just a little myth story. We thank you, Father, for the lesson today. To tell us to look back into our hearts, that we could be starting, Lord. But that we could be free of it as well, too. When we recognize with certainty and with certain reasonableness, Lord, that what you said is true. I praise you, Father. I also pray for the learning group that's going to be sharing today. I pray that they really get into this good discussion, Lord. And that they continue to look upon you, Father, to soften our hearts. I pray for all my friends, for all our guests today from FDR. Give them some love right now. I pray for all my warriors. I pray for my congregation. I pray for my brothers and sisters. I pray for my core leaders and my core staff. That if there's any doubt within our heart, Father, of your resurrection in Christ, I pray that today we can put it to rest. And so then we can realize our fullest potential in you, Lord. For receiving your love, for receiving your grace, and for receiving your goodness and blessings in our lives. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.